The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell. Like Denise Ligammare from Western Division Federal Credit Union, who offers some great advice on interest rates and how to save you money. Then with cold weather right around the corner, the team from Reimer asks, is your home ready for winter? And our friend Linda Pellegrino drops by with important information from the Clarity Group on changes that could impact your healthcare coverage. All on this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Denise Ligammare. Denise, I feel like you're a regular here. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And of course, from Western Division Federal Credit Union. I think since the last time you were here, we had a change in the prime rate, was it?
In the prime rate, yeah.
Okay, what does this mean to me and to everybody else watching today?
Everybody hears about prime. Everybody's watching the prime rate, and for years, you know, everybody sees the political landscape with people going back and forth with everything. So I think I'm just going to break it down, like what does prime really mean to you in a financial sense? So as we all know, as of 2 weeks ago, prime dropped 0.25%. Would we have liked to have dropped it 0.5% or more than that? That would be fantastic. Because for the consumer, when prime rate drops, usually the rest of the financial institution lending rates drop across the board. Not all of them all the time, but there's some that are specifically tied right to prime off the bat. Those would be your home equity variable line of credits, and usually any type of variable credit card. So as soon as prime drops, even this 0.25% that it just did, those will automatically adjust in the marketplace in the financial institutions, which means that now you're paying a lower interest rate than you were 2 weeks ago, and your payment will probably have gone down a little bit. So it's definitely to your benefit that way. What on the flip side is when you're talking about your fixed rate loans that are going on, prime is not tied to the fixed rate loans. So these are your home equity fixed line of credits or loans, your vehicle loans, your recreation loans, your personal loans, those are all fixed rates. So you got a great deal for a fixed rate when you took that loan, whether it be a month ago or 3 years ago. You're tied into that, which is good. But when prime starts dropping, some people start wondering, oh, well, if prime rates are dropping, I'm having a higher rate here, what should I do with the loan that I have now? And this could be a great opportunity this year. They're thinking prime is going to drop maybe another 0.5% to 0.25% before the end of the year. For if you are stuck into a fixed rate loan, once prime starts dropping, this is a great time to refinance those loans, because usually financial institutions, they will take those variable rates, they will drop them with prime when it drops, but they usually take the rest of their loan portfolio and they'll drop the rates a little bit more, even though they're not tied to prime. So if you're out, for example, going for a vehicle loan right now, you'll see that 2 weeks ago, like our loan rate was 3.99. As of October 1st, it's 3.74. So we took that 0.25% and we did it to all of our vehicle, recreational, motorcycle, and personal loans.
What I want to know, coming from Niagara Falls and having a sister that likes to dicker, what happens if somebody goes in and they say, you know, I want a loan rate at such and such. 2 days later, it changes, the prime change. Does anybody ever call and complain and say, I want the lower, you know?
Absolutely, and usually it goes to the fact, like if you're not in contract, but if you've already gone in and gone into a loan contract, whether it be for a home equity, for a vehicle, for any of those type of loans,
right.
As soon as you sign that contract, you are locked into that loan. And usually most financial institutions will not refinance their own loans or go to the lower loan rate, or else we'd be taking calls like that every day of every month, and we be redoing our loan portfolio all the time.
So what are you telling me? What is there a better fixed rate, variable rate? I mean, does it just depend upon the circumstance?
It really does. I think the past couple years, we've pushed a lot of our members into a fixed rate loan, because our fixed rate loan is actually lower than our variable rate loan, because it's we offer a home equity fixed line of credit, which a lot of people don't do out in the area. They only do the variable rate. So when someone comes in and says, we have a lower rate than the variable, and you still get the availability of that line of credit to be able to use it and reuse it for 5, 10, 15 years, they love that. So right now in the environment with the prime, even if it drops another 0.75% before the end of the year, our fixed rate line of credit is actually a better deal, even through the whole year of them dropping.
How does this affect savings and investments?
Okay, on the savings side, a lot of people think that prime is tied to savings account, and it is not at all. So when prime changed, that's more of the lend-in market side of it. When savings accounts change, when prime drops, it's usually because the financial institution uses that opportunity in the marketplace that rates are dropping, so they drop the rate a little bit more. I know at Western Division, we did not drop the rates at all. We kept them all across the board the same, because we still want depositors. So it really depends on the financial institution or investment that you're looking at to see what they want to do with their portfolio and the best rate that they're going to put out there for it. But it is not directly tied to savings.
Did you hear a little jingle? I heard a little jingling in the background. And it must be holiday loan time once again, right?
I know it's October 1st, and it's so bad some people might try and shoot me for saying this, but our holiday loan is up and going as of today, because we know a lot of people, because of tariffs and everything else going on, are out there shopping early. So our holiday loan, 6.99%. Way cheaper than a 24% credit card that you have out there. It's for 12 months, and you can go up to $3,000 with that. We also have our holiday Visa, which is 9.99% with 1% cash back. So you can go out, do some shopping, and not pay those astronomical credit card stores.
Do people still have Christmas Club accounts?
Yeah, we paid that out today too. We have the Holiday Club savings account, and as of today, anybody who's been saving all year long for the Holiday Club savings, we pay that out to everybody today to start their shopping as well.
That's like Halloween candy for me. If I get it too early, I'm going to spend it. If I get Halloween candy too early, I'm going to eat it. So that doesn't work out. Anyway, Denise Ligammare, Western Division Federal Credit Union, thank you so much. We really appreciate you talking to us about that today. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Western Division Federal Credit Union at 716-500-LOAN or go to westerndivision.org. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Western Division Federal Credit Union. And join me weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Nathan Vitaco, who is the Vice President of Operations for Reimer Home Services. Yeah. Nathan, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Glad to have you. You know, I was saying to you off the air just before we went on, every place I go, I see a Reimer.
It's hard to miss the big orange truck. It really is.
It is. And, you know, I think about the fact, I constantly think this, get Reimer on the horn, because you see the big horn there, you know, like that. Yeah. And these guys, it's not like they're just flittering around. I mean, I passed a guy this morning, I think I told you coming over here, and the guy had, you know, his phone up to his ear, and he's going like this. So I'm sure he's working, you know.
As long as he's parked. We just want to make sure.
He's always parked. Unless he was on a dating site. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about, I mean, we're getting to the time of the year. You know, fall is here. We have had this unusually warm weather. As a matter of fact, I think my furnace went on for the first time just the other day. Do you recommend that people check their furnaces before the cold weather comes?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we've been recommending this, you know, in August and September as well, just to have a technician come out and service your furnace before the cold, that first frost warning really strikes. I mean, we had it a couple days ago, and you know, this October has been unusually warm for this time of year. But yeah, absolutely. You know, our technicians we come out and we'll maintain your furnace just to make sure it's prepared for when, you know, the first lengthy cold strike hits.
When you first turn on your furnace, depending on what you got, is it unusual to have like that stale smell in the house?
Yeah, and you know, it's just like a car. You know, if you start your car for the first time in a couple months and it hasn't really ran in a long time, it's just going to start to try to burn some oil or that has been sitting on the furnace for a little while. But if you really have, if your furnace is making some noise or there's this perpetuating smell that you're smelling, it's best to just get a technician out there. And we'll just make sure the furnace is operating properly and there's no issues.
What about like you know, I'm in an older condo or townhouse, and I have a boiler. I guess, you know, and it's new. I mean, the boiler's only a year old or whatever. Isn't it unusual to hear like banging when they, you know, when that first goes on or something? You know, sometimes it'll be in the middle of the night and you hear this bong bong. You're like this, and you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Especially if you're sleeping. Is that unusual? Does that just happen?
Yeah, that's just the pipes expanding with the heat. Yep, that's very normal.
Well, good, because, you know, I thought it was haunted for a second there. I was wondering what the heck was going on. What about filters and things like that? Do people check those regularly, and how often should you change like a furnace filter?
Yeah, of course. Furnace filters, I mean, you really want to change them monthly, and it really all depends on your system and the furnace. When our techs come out to the homes, we always recommend that the filters get changed monthly. There are some, as with anything, there are better filters than some. Some filters can last a little longer than a month, but we always recommend filters get changed often. It helps with the efficiency of the system, and then you're also not breathing in dirty air that's passing through a clogged, dirty filter.
What about emergency services? I hate to bring it up, but you know, something happens in the middle of the night, something happens on the weekend, something happens on a holiday.
Yeah, we are, as much as the community is prepared for this winter, Reimer is also prepared for when the first snow strikes. We provide emergency services. We're open 24/7. And I think a lot of people can remember the blizzard from a couple years ago. Roads were shut down. All emergency services were shut down. Unfortunately, we couldn't get on the roads ourselves, but we were calling out to customers, and we were able to solve problems for customers over the phone, get heat back up for homes, and we ended up getting a Good Neighbor Award for in 2022 when that blizzard came.
I want to talk about that stuff in the community, but one other thing: if someone's looking to put a generator in their home, can you give them advice on that, or help them hook it up to the
Yes, yeah. So, and Reimer started off as heating and cooling. 15 years ago, we got into plumbing, and about 2 years ago, we started to get into our electrical services. So we can provide services for generators. We have a technician come out, and we can inspect panels to make sure there's no water or rust in your panel. We can do a lot of redevices, but absolutely, especially in the winter months, if you're expecting the power to go out, a whole home generator or a supplemental generator is a very good idea.
We only have about a minute and a half left. Tell me what Reimer does in the community.
Yeah, so we really show up for the moments that matter. We had a great event about a week ago, making strides, and the Breast and American Cancer Society. We partnered with them, and we had a great event down at Terminal B. A lot of families that know somebody who are currently affected by breast cancer showed up, and it was just a very heartwarming an event, and it's so great to be able to make that type of impact in the community.
Well, we really thank you for what Reimer does in the community, and please keep it up, because it's a big benefit to Western New York. And thank you very much for being with us today, Nathan. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Reimer Home Services by calling 716-302-HORN or go to callreimer.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Reimer Home Services. And you can join me 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chilling, mornings from 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is one of my favorite people in the whole world, Linda Pellegrino. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Back at you, Joe. Nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you. I'm so used to seeing you on TV, and I miss that now, but
Thank you.
nice to have you here
Thank
with us
you.
today. You know, we're talking about something that is of major concern right now. I mean, because I know you got a letter in the mail, I got a letter in the mail for Medicare, and it just, you know, oftentimes people just think, you know, open enrollment, say, is from October 15th through December 7th or whatever, right? And they just say, oh, I don't have to worry anything. I'm going to do the same thing as last year. It was great this year. Now you find out, and there were hundreds of thousands of people that found out, that that plan is canceled.
Right. Yes.
So what happened? So now is the time to talk to the folks at the Clarity Group, right?
Clarity Group, they can help you so much. I have referred so many people to them. Joe, when I was getting close to turning 65, which was a while ago, I thought Medicare was free. I mean, I didn't know, you don't know anything about it until you get to that magic age. And then you're like, wow, I don't know anything about this. What do I do? And most people say, I'll ask my neighbor, I'll ask my friend, I'll just get with whatever my husband is getting. No, it's a totally individual thing about what you need for Medicare. What with the government is easy? Nothing. So when you look at something like Medicare, you need to go to an expert because you're going to short-cheat yourself if you try to pick a plan by yourself.
You know, and the other thing is, I don't know about you, but when I turned 65, and it was a while ago as well, I got emails from everybody under the sun.
Right.
I got snail mail from everybody under the sun. I'm looking at all this stuff and I go, what the heck does this mean? And the other thing was Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D.
Right.
Alphabet soup.
Supplemental. You know, Medicare plans, exactly. Plus, we got Joe Namath asking us on TV to call him,
that's
right?
Very, very good. And I don't know Joe Namath's number. You know, but no, that's very true. But I think that the thing is the urgency about this. If you're watching right now, you can call the Clarity Group right now. And I know this sounds hard to believe, the service is free.
Absolutely free. And when you call, you're going to get a real person. You're going to get Donna, who answers the phone. She's going to find out who you are, where you are, and then she can refer you to probably an office that's close to you, whether it's Depew, whether it's Lancaster, whether it's Orchard Park. How great is that? And again, like you say, their service is absolutely free. They are there all year, not just when the enrollment period is open. And you can call them if you have a change. You might have a diagnosis in 2 months. Uh-oh, am I going to be covered for this? Call them. They'll be there.
Well, you know, that's a very good point because a lot of people don't think about, they think if I have a major change, if I get a letter, then I'm going to call. But really, during that enrollment period every year, you should really meet with your advisor. I meet with Karen, Karen Olson, who's my advisor, and she'll sit down with me and she'll say, have your prescriptions changed? Have any doctors changed? Any new specialists? And you know, and even in advance, I can talk to her because she calls me in advance of the actual appointment, and she says, "Tell me if these things have changed." So when I get there, she knows what my prescriptions are, who my doctors and specialists are, and she can say to me, "These are my recommendations." She doesn't say, "This is what you should do. This is what you should do." She might give me an option of 3 people, you know, or 3 groups or whatever, and you pick one of those groups, but she's got all my information on a computer in front of her. So there's no question about, you know, I mean, I think in the past year, maybe it was, I'm going to make some of this up, but it was Buffalo Medical Group, and they weren't going to be, taking, my group or whatever. But then she said, but you're only going there for specialty. It's a specialist. So they will continue to take that. So I didn't know.
How would you know?
I wouldn't know.
Nobody would know. I mean, and I think that's the way it's planned, so that we really don't have that much information, because I think, what organization wants to pay you more? Nobody does. But they know more. They know, who you should pick or who's going to help you the most. And as you say, Clarity will always give you a bunch of choices. How about if you're a snowbird and you go down to Florida for 2 or 3 months? Now who's going to get covered? What if I'm a vet? Is everything covered by the VA, or is it still worth it for me, to pick a Medicare plan? You wouldn't know this stuff unless you spoke to someone in the business, and that is their only business. Once you get there, they're not there with any kind of an insurance form or stock. They're not selling you anything else. This is what they do, and this is only what they do. And you can feel peace with that.
It's ringing in my ear. I can hear your voice saying, make it clear with clarity, right?
Yes.
I can hear you. Make it clear with clarity. And I think, it's hard for people to understand that they're not going to have to pay anything. And this is a lot of stuff to go through. It's very confusing.
Yes.
Even year after year. So to be able to sit down with somebody, and they don't rush you through the appointment, right?
No.
They take as much time as it takes. They have locations all over Western New York.
right.
You know, so you go in, I have an appointment at the end of the month. So I go in at the end of the month, go over the whole thing, then I know, I feel that I'm set for the year. However, I do, if I have questions during the course of the year,
Right.
I will call. Or if I have something that I didn't think was accepted or whatever, I'll call and say, what's the deal with this? And I always feel that I have an educated individual on the other
yes.
side.
Oh,
and
yes.
you made a very good point. When you call, it's not press 2 for this, press 3 for this, and then you're sitting for a half hour on the line waiting for somebody out of town. These are local folks.
Right, and as Joe was saying, where do they get paid? They get paid by whoever you choose. So they have no skin in the game as to who they want you to pick. It's not like that. You might pick a local company, and they do a great job. You might pick a national company like an Aetna. They do a great job. You wouldn't know, though, the specific ins and outs, though, until you sit down with a professional. And that's what the Clarity Group agents are. They're professionals in this. My husband got a diagnosis like 6 months into the year. We didn't know what that was going to mean with our Medicare coverage. Well, we called Lisa in this case, and she explained to us, okay, we're going to try this, we're going to do this, and you're going to find that you're not going to have a problem here. Or because of whatever this specific issue is, you could actually change at a different time of the year. Even though there are times where we say open enrollment, not open enrollment, they know when those other periods are that you can actually make a change.
The immediacy, though, call right now. You can call Clarity Group right now. Linda, thank you very much. We really
Thanks,
appreciate it. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Clarity Group by calling 716-393-3437 or go to claritygroupny.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the Clarity Group. And don't forget to join me weekday mornings between 7 and 9 a.m. with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.